Now, meanwhile, President Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, joined Fox News Sunday yesterday. And to hear him put it, there's a very low probability of the president sitting down for an interview with special counsel Robert Mueller. Watch.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. After what they did to Flynn and the way they trapped him into perjury and no sentence for him, 14 days for Papadopoulos, I did better on traffic violations than they did with Papadopoulos.
So when you say good luck, you're saying no way, no interview.
They're a joke over my dead body, but, you know, I could be dead.
He sent boys to the gas chamber for traffic violations, by gum. But you're telling me there's a chance, Rudy? Giuliani also trashed the credibility of the president's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, and doubled down on his claim that then candidate Trump didn't know about hush money payments Cohen made on his behalf, so it wouldn't constitute a campaign finance violation. So has Rudy lost his mind, or has he found a weak spot in the special counsel's case? Tonight's panel joins me now. She's a correspondent for the Greg Gutfeld Show and a reporter for National Review. It is Kat Timpf, along with Reason Magazine editor-at-large and Fifth Column podcast host Matt Welch, and comedian and head writer for this very showroom, the finest in all of cable news. Next to Laura Ingraham. It is Jimmy Failla.
True words have never been spoken.
Yes, absolutely. So Rudy Giuliani.
Oh, boy.
Who is he in this entire Shakespearean tragedy?
The most adorable, who he is he's a guy who's gone horseback riding. Like, the idea that he thinks he has any say in what Trump decides to do legally. Advising Trump is horseback riding. Yeah, you can do things with the reins, but at the end of the day, you're going where the horse wants to go. You know what I mean? So if Trump wants to sit down, he could sit down. And by the way, if Trump wants to pay for a border wall, he should sit down with Mueller and pay-per-view it for like $60. You get 3 walls out of that deal. You know,
that's actually what I was thinking about the Mueller sit down. If the president decides to sit down, he should just surprise Mueller and open it up to the press without telling him, like he did with Chuck and Nancy. Yeah. That would be fantastic.
Only if Mike Pence does the silent prayer in the corner.
Oh, that was the best. He's just sitting there looking at his watch like, when am I president?
It's pulling the weekend at Bernie's.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about this because, you know, Rudy Giuliani is saying the president isn't going to sit down for an interview. They treated Michael Flynn horribly. Mike Flynn, and Michael Cohen is a big liar. Which of those statements are true?
I don't think that Mike Flynn was treated horribly. Mike Flynn today in a federal courthouse, I think he was called the head of Project A or whatever, but his business partner was indicted for being a foreign agent of Turkey. This business partner was on the transition team, the Trump transition team. Michael Flynn was the head of the DIA. He's someone who kind of knew better. So Rudy Giuliani, as our friend Judge Napolitano has been pointing out, has not been doing the president any favors. He goes in the weekend shows, he changes the president's timeline. He says, well, if it was collusion, you know, collusion's not a crime. Yeah, but conspiracy is, and that's actually a statute. He's changing things around in such a way, and he's really irritating the prosecutors in the Southern District of New York. The only people who he knows that he might want to call in a favor in or be helpful in some material way.
No, they're over it. I think that the Southern District of New York is so different now than when Rudy was a federal prosecutor, and they are so politicized. And I'm actually kind of surprised to hear you say that because I think the FBI has overstepped their bounds.
Oh, look,
I think
they overstepped their bounds with Reason Magazine.
I think there's so much heavy-handedness with the FBI and surveillance and the way a lot of this is being carried out. And I would say the same thing if this were a Democrat.
But if you're counsel, you don't agitate the people who are hunting you down because you have to do business.
That seems to be a strategy. And one way of looking at it is the president is such an agitator. He doesn't want to be president anymore, and he's going down swinging. Like he's going to go down in a blaze of glory, and he's going to Frank Sinatra his way right out of the White House.
Well, if he wanted to do that, I think he would just sit down with Mueller. I think that would be an absolute disaster. He's not the best at keeping his story straight. He tends to tell one story and then another story, and then he just does it so much that people kind of don't really care. A lot of his supporters don't care because they like his agenda and it doesn't really matter. But there's really nothing he could gain by going and sitting down with Mueller, and everything he could lose. So generally, if there's nothing you can gain and everything you can lose, you don't go. If I could apply that to my dating life, then
How different
I'm
would it
sure
be?
things would be so much different. But I always go.
You know what, though? But it is endlessly entertaining for your friends who care about you deeply.
Thank you. I'm glad you do care.
The one thing I was going to say about Rudy is he does scare me because he was like a great, he had a great legal background years back. And it feels like he's been out of the game a while. And
Yeah,
to bone up.
it feels like he's your great uncle who's sitting at the Barca Lounger telling you how things used to be on the trading floor.
Well, it's almost like he's been out of the game for a while, and to bone up, he watched My Cousin Vinny. And he was like, all right, I got some legal expertise.
Oh, Joe
It's been ugly.
Pesci. God rest his soul. The panel returns a little bit later. First up, another rough day for the markets with the Dow dropping 500 points plus. Are we heading into a recession, and what does that mean for your bank account? Peter Schiff will make you rich. He joins me next. It's all needles in my eyes. Joe Biden thinks he's the most qualified person in the country to be president, and several recent polls show the former vice president as the early pace setter in the massive Democratic field. But some in Biden's camp are concerned his age may turn off potential voters. It's turning me on. He's going to be 78 on Inauguration Day, making him the oldest president in history. What can Uncle Joe do to fix that? According to some Biden advisors, pick Beto O'Rourke as his running mate. The Texas congressman and progressive darling is 46 and would add some much-needed youth to the ticket. So would a Biden-Beto tag team give Democrats a better chance of taking down President Trump in 2020? The panel is back to decide. Kat, Matt, and Jimmy. Kat, I will start with you. What do you think about that? This is obviously a weather balloon that Team Biden has floated, seeing if it gets any traction.
It's two white guys.
Exactly
I
right.
thought that was against their religion
A lot of
over
nerves.
there to have two white guys run. Isn't that like every ism?
Yeah.
Isn't that all the
Are
isms?
they just going to run like
They're
Biden Beto 2020, hashtag Proud Boys?
they're perpetuating the patriarchy.
Yeah.
They're perpetuating white supremacy.
Yeah.
I personally need a safe space from this ticket because I feel that as a female, I am being oppressed. No, it's ridiculous. They want to make Joe Biden cool because like Beto goes by Beto and used to skateboard. Nah. It's so easy to
doesn't
be a
skate well.
cool.
You can tell
It's
he's not
so
a natural
easy to be
skater.
a cool if you're a politician because politicians are just so not cool. You take one look at that guy, you know he's not a cool guy.
Oh,
he drinks probably like Michelob Light, you know, if he drinks at all.
No, you know what? Even worse, he drinks Sauvignon Blanc. Matt?
Watch it.
Beto.
You watch
Yeah.
it, sister.
That was an
a cheap
attack.
shot.
That was an attack.
Not everybody can like have fireballs in their Kellogg's in the morning. Anyways,
In their
God, I
Rangers
wish
cups.
I could. It's the gluten that I can't.
Joe Biden has been running for president since before my voice changed.
Yeah.
He's been running for president. Like, you know how The Cure was just nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Since before The Cure put out their first record, Joe Biden was still running for president. He's been doing this whole time.
He was old during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
He was super old. He was Castro. It was very confusing. There's been no demonstrated evidence that anybody wants Joe Biden to run for president.
Well, in the Iowa straw poll they just had, he got 32%.
They've recognized his name.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Kirsten Gillibrand is not going to be bringing it home. No one has any idea who she is or half the people. That's why Beto O'Rourke
But the
doing so well.
future is female.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy Klobuchar next door in Minnesota. Oh, God.
Bananas.
Oh, my gosh, you know, I know Prince back in the day, and Husker do, Husker don't.
First of all, everybody thinks this is
Amy
like.
Klobuchar.
I know, I enjoyed it. That was a good
Yeah.
Klobuchar. As
Yeah.
Klobuchars go.
Such a critic of post-punk, but
You
go on.
don't get a lot of good Klobuchar these days. This is only in the
So-
primary anyway. First of all, everybody's like, yeah, this is a daring move by Biden. It's not daring. I mean, because he thinks Beto can out-fundraise him. Daring would be hiring Beto to be his chauffeur. Because that could end really bad, because he's not exactly the best
No, he's
driver.
not a good
Like they
driver.
always say, like, yeah, he skateboards into his rallies because he has to. He has no other way to get there. But everyone thinks they'd be formidable. They would be the first, I guarantee you this, they would be the first ticket out of the primaries,
Yeah.
because they would get Me Too'd right off the stage. Because the Democratic primaries are going to be vicious. And part of the reason, Biden is trying to insulate himself against the age thing and possibly the Me Too thing is by bringing on
Well,
Beto.
remember when Ted Cruz did the same thing?
Yeah.
He announced Carly Fiorina
Way
as his
early.
running mate, and voters ran from that option.
It's not a sign of strength. It was like a rope-a-dope because he knows Beto is like a younger, more, better looking, more charismatic, more fun, fundraising able guy. So he's basically tricking him into being on his ticket, is the way I saw
Well,
it.
I like trickery. Could a shorter work week boost your personal economy, according to a new global study? Working 4 days instead of 5 makes people happier and more productive. Billionaire Richard Branson, what a beard stroker. He agrees, saying people will also work less in the future because of robots. He also said the typical 9-to-5 schedule is going the way of the dodo bird. So will we ever work less? And if so, when, Kat? I say you push everyone to work less, and then people who work more will dominate the economy.
Yeah,
Go.
I'm fine with everyone else working less while I continue to work more. I also just don't get how it's connected to be working less and have less stress. Because yesterday I didn't work. I stayed on my couch watching Teen Mom 2 all day, all night. I still was stressed, like, oh, my apartment's a mess. Like, oh, all I have in my fridge is, like, ranch dressing and a shoe and like
Postmates delivers them.
and you know, like, I shouldn't have texted that guy 30 times. I'm sure you got the first 10, you know. I mean, there's plenty of things. If you're not stressed out because you're not working, I want to know what your personal life is like, and I want to know why is it so boring.
You know what? When you work less, you got bills. You got more bills, and that's more stressful.
Yeah, it's also not fun. I don't understand the point of not working.
I don't either.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And why is it only these robots? We've been hearing about robots going to displace all jobs forever. What's the unemployment in this country? It's like 3.9% right now. They're doing a bad job of displacing all of the jobs right now. It's not happening. I wish that everything would change and be all weird and futuristic as soon as possible. But we're still doing like 19th century.
No, you still got a guy in a robot suit dancing in Russia. That's all we got to worry about. Bring it home, Jimmy.
They faked the robot.
I did.
This would be more productive for like 2 weekends in a row, and then we would just shift into 3-day weekend mode, and people would be coming in drunk and fat, face tattoos, and a mess. Because if you ever, if anyone,
nothing changes.
Yeah, nothing. That's what I'm saying. You get 2 weeks
My
of
show
like,
staff.
oh, I'm so renewed. Yeah, and then week 3, it all turned into the Kennedy staff.
Oh,
And here
it's
we
sad and wonderful at the same time. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday,
Oh,
Jimmy!
Jimmy Failla, there
Jimmy
you go.
Failla.
Great job.
Big birthday, boy.
My
Matt and
sister's
Kat.
birthday too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, happy birthday, Julia.
We love the
The
Timpfs.
topical storm is